Hi, welcome to another help session video. Today I'm going to be covering an example problem for stoichiometry and conversions in a reaction. In my last video I covered the molar map and how to use it. In this video I'm going to be assuming you have watched that video or understand the concepts of converting between different types of units, and we're going to be going through the process for actually doing a conversion problem. So first we're going to begin. Fermentation is a complex chemical process of winemaking in which glucose is converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide. So we're given this equation here. So the first thing you want to do is write down the reaction formula. The reaction formula is absolutely going to be useful in a reaction-based problem, so there's no sense to not write it down. So C6H12O6 becomes, after being reacted, 2C2H5OH plus 2CO2. So what this reaction is saying is that for 1 mole of glucose, when we react it with whatever we're reacting it with, most likely heat's added to it, we receive 2 moles of ethanol and 2 moles of carbon dioxide. Okay, so starting with 500.4 grams of glucose, what is the maximum amount of ethanol in grams and in liters that can be obtained by this process? Okay, so we're going to start off with 500.4 grams of C6H12O6 or ethanol. Okay, so we're going to start writing this down because the first thing we want to do is convert it from grams to moles, like we saw in the molar map video. So we're going to write down 500.4 grams of C6H12O6, and we're going to multiply this by its molar mass, this molecule's molar mass, to be able to cancel out the unit of grams of glucose, or grams of C6H12O6. And so for every 1 mole, because we want to go from grams to moles to be able to convert it to the other compound we're looking for, which is ethanol, we have 1 mole of C6H12O6, and the molar mass of glucose is, well, it's going to be 6 times 12 plus 12 plus 16 times 6. That's the atomic weight multiplied by how many atoms there are in this molecule. And so when you sum those up, you get 180 grams in C6H12O6. And so when you do this, you are able to cancel out the different units. Oh, sorry about that. It's a fairly loud sound. When you're able to do that, you're able to cancel out the units, and you're left with just moles of glucose. However, that's not what the question's asking. We need to find out the maximum amount of ethanol in grams and in liters. So we want to convert to glucose here, or ethanol, sorry. So we need to use the molar ratio between them, like we saw in the molar map video. And so the molar ratio between them is, well, for every 1 mole of glucose, we produce 2 moles of ethanol. Sorry, it's my phone. 2 moles of ethanol. And so we're going to use the same line of thinking where we need to cancel out the units. So for the molar ratio, 1 mole, see there's an imaginary 1 here, 1 mole of glucose, C6H12O6, and we produce 2 moles of C2H5OH. Okay, and so when you do this, the units for moles of glucose cancel out, you're left with moles of ethanol. And so right now we have the moles of ethanol, but we need to go further. We need to find what the how much we can get in grams and liters. This would just be how many moles we can produce from 500.4 grams. So to cancel out the moles and convert it into grams, we need to cancel out the units. So we're going to use the molar mass, since it's a very convenient unit to use. Mole of C2H5OH, and for this we have 12 times 2, so I'll write it out here for you. 12 times 2, so this is carbon. H is equal to 1 times 5, it's a colon, and then we have O, which is 16, and then we have H, which is 1. So this is going to be 24, 5, 16, and 1. So that would be 29 17, that'd be 39, 46. 46, okay. So 46 grams of C2H5OH. Awesome. And then once we evaluate all this, we're actually going to find that we end up with grams of ethanol that we're left with, because all the other units have canceled out since we have divided by them as well as multiplied by them in the numerator. So we're actually just left with grams of ethanol, which is actually what we're asked, ethanol in grams. So we're going to evaluate this, and I have my calculator next to me. So it'll be 500.4 multiplied by 2 times 46. There's also multiplied by the 1, but anything multiplied by 1 is itself. So we're going to evaluate that, then we're going to divide it by 180. And we have 200, let me see if I can get my pen, 255.76 grams of C2H5OH, or ethanol. And so that's actually what it asked. That's what we needed to find. But we need to go further. We actually have to find it in liters. So how do you convert grams to liters? Well, it tells us what the density of ethanol is. Density is mass per volume, and so what we're given is 0.789 grams per milliliter, per 1 milliliter, excuse me. And we're going to set this equal to our grams, where we have 255 point, I don't know why my handwriting's get bad right now, 225.76 grams per X amount of milliliters. And so basically what we're saying here is that for every milliliter, we have 0.789 grams. That's a G, I'm sorry. It's 0.789 grams per milliliter. And so if we have 255.76, not 0.789, we have more, how many milliliters do we end up with? And so the way to figure this out is to just multiply top and bottom across. And so what you find is that you get, this is therefore, by the way, this is what I normally use to indicate therefore. Therefore, 0.789 X is equal to 255.76. And if you look where X is going to be plugged into milliliters. So once we solve for this, which is just basic algebra, we're going to find out how many milliliters we actually have in 255.76 grams of ethanol. So we're going to divide this by 0.789 to cancel these out. Divide this by 0.789. And we're going to find that X is equal to 255.76 divided by 0.789. 324. Okay. 324.16 milliliters. And so if we divide, we have to divide by 1,000 because milliliters is 1/1000th of a liter. So we divide this by 1,000, and we get point, I believe it is, divide by 1,000. Yeah, so 0.32, just double checking myself there, 32416 liters of ethanol, or C2H5OH. And that's all there is to this problem. So the answers here would be this and this. This is what you would enter into the area on the Connect website or on the sheet for whatever the teacher is asking you to complete. So that was just an example problem. I hope this made sense to you. If there's anything that was unclear, let me know in the comment section below and I'll try to clarify. Thanks for watching. See you later.